Question of the day. Was the Emancipation Proclamation effective? Since most, if not all of us, have never read the Emancipation Proclamation, I will read it for you.
Any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward.
Well, if that wasn't the most boring thing you've ever heard, I don't know what is. Basically, the Emancipation Proclamation was put in place by my dude right here, Abraham Lincoln, to free slaves in the Confederate States against the Union. This didn't include border states. If you have no idea what states it applied to after I just explained it, you can look right here. Since the Emancipation Proclamation is often misunderstood, I'll give you a few facts so that you can understand my topic. The Emancipation Proclamation was actually issued twice by Abraham Lincoln. The first time, it was to tell the Confederate States that if they did not cease rebellion, that he would put this into action. The second time, it was actually put into action because the Confederate States did not cease. Another thing is that the Emancipation Proclamation was only for states that were in rebellion. It did not include the border states. Whenever Lincoln took the Emancipation Proclamation to his cabinet, they denied it because they thought that it was too radical. The only way that Lincoln got them to accept the Emancipation Proclamation was by being so determined to put it into action. With the Union's victory over the Battle of Antietam, the cabinet decided to push the Emancipation Proclamation along. The Emancipation Proclamation also paved way for African Americans to fight for their freedom. Lincoln stated that anyone that was suitable could join the armed forces. By the end of the war, there were 200,000 African Americans that joined the Army and the Navy. To Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation was the greatest achievement he had accomplished in his presidency. Now that we all have an idea about what the Emancipation Proclamation entails, was it effective? The answer is sort of. It was effective when it gained troops and support for Lincoln and the Union, and when it proposed the 13th Amendment. It wasn't so effective when it came to time management and who it applied to. But since we're talking about how it was effective, let's talk about how it benefited the Civil War. Number 1. The Emancipation Proclamation was effective because Lincoln was able to capture the heart and imagination of many African Americans. After it was issued, it had changed from wanting to restore the Union to also wanting to fight for freedom of African Americans. Since so many African Americans were now on Lincoln's side, they were more likely to listen to him, thus bringing point 2. The Emancipation Proclamation caused many of the former slaves to join the Union's army because they were told that they could get back at their slave masters by fighting against them. And this is really funny because the whole point of the Emancipation Proclamation was to take the slaves away from the Confederate troops, and now they get them for the Union. Crazy. Who's the slave now? Is that too soon? Yeah, too soon. Anyways, number 3, or the third reason why the Emancipation Proclamation was effective, was because it led to the proposal and ratification of the 13th Amendment. If you don't know what the 13th Amendment is, then you're just gonna have to guess. Just kidding, I'll tell you. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. That means that 3.1 million slaves are now free. That's crazy. Oh my God. So, since the Emancipation Proclamation led to the ratification of the 13th Amendment, and the 13th Amendment led to the abolishment of 3.1 million slaves, that means that the Emancipation Proclamation was effective because it freed 3.1 million slaves. Whoa! That sounds pretty effective to me. Now, there are people who say that the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free any slaves and that Lincoln only did it to cause the Confederates to lose troops. Well, they're right. But the question only asks if the Emancipation Proclamation was effective. Technically, since Lincoln won over millions of African Americans, they gained troops for the Union, and because they ratified the 13th Amendment, which later freed 3.1 million slaves, the Emancipation Proclamation was indeed effective. If you don't take my word for it, listen to this video about this guy singing the song about the Emancipation Proclamation. It's pretty great.
Because you know I'm gonna emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate. Yeah, I know I said to Mr. Horace G, if I could save the Union, I'd keep slavery, or I would end it all, or just end some. But now it is time for emancipation. Come January 1st, 1863, if you're not back with us, we'll no more slavery. And if you are a slave, listen to me, that I declare you emancipated and forever free. Oh yeah, well on this same set we're fighting to keep this country one. But now freeing all those slaves is something that must be done. Because you know I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate. To the border states, I swear I won't emancipate. You cannot keep your slaves till the 13th Amendment passed, and then you'll have to liberate. Oh yeah, well I know that on New Year's Day no slave will be set free. But this proclamation changes things fundamentally. And well, some in the North say it's not what they signed up to do. To them, remember you're preserving the Union too. Because you know I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate, well kind of. I'm gonna emancipate, emancipate.
From this video, as well as the song that we just listened to, you can see that the Emancipation Proclamation was sort of effective. Any questions? No? Okay. We'll get out of here. I'm trying my cereal. Shout out to ushistory.com and all the other websites I use to make this terrible presentation. Also, shout out to Oatmeal Squares, because I love those.